Hello, good evening, and welcome to tonight's show. This is Majority Caucus live on your multi-TV, and my name is Ali Dawood. I'll be your host for tonight's discussion. It saddens my heart to begin the program by, sending my condolences to the family of the bereaved and the incident that occurred yesterday at Melcombe in Achimota. Our thoughts are with the families, and that we pray and hope that more lives will be saved as the rescue exercise goes on. Tonight we'll be looking at the president's campaign in the north and the subsequent suspension of the campaign with regards to the incident that happened at Melcombe. And to help me discuss this topic, I have been joined in the studio by Mr. Stan Dogbe, who is a presidential aide and a key member of the John Mahama campaign 2012. And with him, I'm sure the discussion should be much more exciting. Towards the end of the program, I'll activate the phone line so you can join in to share your views and your thoughts. Mr. Stan, thank you very much for your time here.
Thank you, Ali.
How has been the campaign?
Well, it's been quite rigorous, stressful, but also quite revealing. And to a very large extent also quite exciting, because such campaign environments provide you an opportunity not only to charge up the base of your political organization, but also interact with a lot of people. And I think that it's a blessing in disguise that we are behind time with our campaign.
Indeed, but what I have realized is that it looks like the president has suspended his campaign, and he was all the way in the north. I thought perhaps, one might have expected that he could deploy some team on his behalf, to attend to the situation and not necessarily himself coming down. But he thought it fit to come down.
Yes, I think that it was a very good decision in the end, because when we set off that morning, we had left Bolgatanga en route to Garu, where we were going to campaign, and from Garu would have come down to Timpani and then down to Boku, to Zebila, in that order. But whilst on the way to Garu, it became necessary for us to rather go to Boku first. So we're actually 5 minutes away from Boku, where there were lots of people gathered and waiting for us. And along the way, the reports started coming in, and he was getting, briefing from his designated ministers and the others. And it became apparent that we had to move. And he stopped the convoy and said, "We are back to Bolgatanga and back to Accra." And we had to do that. It's just a reflection of what you would call fellow feeling, and also being the man in charge, the commander-in-chief. So whilst he had detailed his vice president, who was returning from Takrady, to be joined by the chief of staff, the defense and interior ministers to go to the site, it was apparent that he wanted to be there. It's not happened, before, and not that one was waiting for something to happen, but you needed to ensure that the right things were done. And I think that it is good he came back, and what we are hearing now about a number of people that thankfully have been rescued as against those who lost their lives.
That is where my interest. But before we do that, let's talk a bit about the campaign. What is the strategy? Have you moved from northern region now in the upper west or the upper east?
Well, we had done we had completed a northern regional campaign. We had gone to the upper west region, and we finished the upper west region on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, Tuesday, we finished the upper west on Tuesday, and entered the upper east region via China, because we had ended our upper west regional tour. The last point was in Tumu. So we crossed over through China, went through Paga, and stopped to pay a courtesy call on the Navrupio before we closed for the day. So yesterday was the main day for Upper East. So we would have done yesterday and today in Upper East, and then moved down a little down southwards.
Yeah, Stan, I have before me here the NDC 2012 manifesto. I'm sure yourself have a copy. The issues are many here. Most of them almost all of them very practicable, if I may say. How do you break it down to the ordinary Ghanaians? Because I'm not sure most of them would have the time to, get acquainted with the content of the manifesto.
Well, I mean, it's good. Multi-TV has been following us on our campaign, and I believe that some of the footages that they bring to the people have reflected what it is that has been going on. For 4 years, we have spoken. I have been in this studio together with my colleagues on various platforms to talk about what it is that this government has done as far as our Better Ghana agenda was concerned. There were those who said that you were not doing anything. There were those who were refusing to even see it when they see it. They go to their villages and they see new school blocks coming up. They see new CHIPS compounds coming up. They see new hospital polyclinics coming up. They see the district assemblies putting up various forms of infrastructure, which in the very little way that they are helping enhance economic activity in their communities. Yet still, they come back and say they have not seen anything, nothing is happening. For me, that's why I said earlier on that the length of time that we have had to campaign as against the opposition that has been campaigning for 3 years now, the benefit we have with this short time is that you are having to devise a strategy that allows you to go to as many places as you can. And I tell you what, Ali, there is no single community that we have gone to. Even when you go to communities where, forgive me, the chiefs are blatantly NPP-ish, you understand? Even they themselves cannot fail to recognize that their people have seen some forms of development within their community, be it roads, be it health infrastructure, be it school infrastructure, be it expansion of school feeding program. I mean, there are various things that have happened. And in many of the communities that we went to, the chiefs themselves came out and said, yes, we can count A, B, C, D as what has happened in our constituency. But of course, we want more.
I see.
This government cannot solve all the problems in 4 years.
So in effect, you are saying that if it is about evidence, you need to go to the ground and talk to the people.
The evidence is there. What I'm saying is that the people are even reflecting that evidence. They make your work even easier, because in this manifesto, what we have said to the people of this country is that we promise you a better Ghana. This is what we have done with that better Ghana, because in all the 4 thematic areas, we have listed what it is that we have done. And the president says that we are going to advance this further. And how are we going to advance that? We have detailed what we are going to do further in this book as well. So you have a president that says that I'm going to work for you together with my government, and we are going to achieve this. This is what we've been able to do. We will do this. So when you go to the community, it is easy for you to tell them that we are going to do this for you, because the chiefs themselves already, bring out what it is that you have done already and tell you what is missing. There were those who said that they were going to provide free SHS. In many communities of this country, the chiefs have been very, very clear in saying that, Mr. President, the SHS can be free, but please, we don't have any SHS here, so you give us 2 out of the 200. So by the time you leave a region, you see that you are even sharing the 200 before you even go there. So the manifesto is very practical, and the people are indeed identifying with it.
Yes. On that note, I want to take my first break, but before that, Stan, just a heads up. When we come back, you tell me one key message that resonates with the people as a part of the NDC campaign strategy. We have had free SHS with regards to the MPP. You tell me what is it that is for the MPP. Stay with me. Don't go away. I'll be right back after this. Thank you and welcome back to Majority Caucus. If you just join us, this is tonight's edition of Majority Caucus live on your multi-TV. With me in the studio as Mr. Stan Dogbe, presidential aide and a former host of this program. My avid viewers would know that he is indeed a good analyst at that. Stan, I needed to know, and I'm sure the good people of Ghana also perhaps are curious, for those who do not know, what is it about the NDC campaign message that when they say, people would know that they are going for this?
Well, we ought to lift our politics from where some people want to take our politics to. Politics should not be an avenue for us to achieve whatever ends we want by deceiving the people of this country. If some people say they have launched their manifesto, and all the people of this country know is that they are promising free SHS, is that what is in their manifesto? So be it. We do not have a one-message manifesto because we believe that development must be total. In 2008, when we outdoored the Better Ghana agenda, Professor Mills said that he had 4 pillars of that Better Ghana agenda. Okay, investing in people, you know, expanding infrastructure for growth, building a strong economy, and then also a transparent and accountable governance. Based on those pillars, various facets of development that we ought to have as a country were tackled during that period. And we are happy that in spite of all the noise that opposition elements made, opposition media houses made, when God took Professor Mills from us to his bosom, the very people, including those media houses and those political elements themselves, recognized that Professor Mills had brought a certain change to the politics of this country. And the developmental projects that he had started were also indeed far-reaching. What we are saying in our 2012 manifesto, advancing the Better Ghana agenda, is that we want total development for this country. So from our first pillar, investing in people, which we have modified slightly to say putting the people first, you recognize that we are looking at what are the various elements that we ought to be doing as a country in order to move our country from a lower middle income status to a full middle income status. So we are not just making a one-off promise. When you take the issue of putting people first, you are tackling issues that matter to the people. You're talking about education, you're talking about health, you're talking about various other social services. And under all those sectors, key, practical, deliverable, policies have been outlined. Now, a good policy is one that has programs and projects coming out of it, because a policy is a policy. Indeed. It is a programs and the projects that you check out that reflect whether that policy is a good policy. Okay. So when you say that you are going to make education accessible, okay, to the people of this country, how are you going to do that? You're going to expand the infrastructure both at the basic level, senior high school level, and then also at the tertiary level. So while some are talking about free SHS as their main campaign message, you have tertiary education. What is it that they have at the tertiary education? When it began to bite them, they announced that they were going to build 350 senior high schools. And when they were challenged to show which part of their manifesto had that, they said, oh, can't we tell you what we are going to do? It is not there. So I'm saying that
was an afterthought.
we do not have a one message manifesto, because the challenges that confront this nation, the difficulties that we have as a nation, is not only in the fact that parents pay for secondary education. You have various other things. Health, very, very key. You have energy. And we are saying that in addition to providing 200 new senior high school across the country, which is something that we have done before, because during the Rawlings era, we did something similar. We are also moving into the tertiary area. We said that we are going to let the polytechnics become full degree awarding institutions. Some politically biased lecturers from somewhere said that, but we are already offering degrees. You offer BTech. What is the modalities for any student who wants to, as it were, acquire a degree in BTech? An HND purchasing and supply student can acquire a degree in BTech, and what will be, so you need to look at the issues. Okay. Do you understand? Can you allow for the polytechnics to award degrees? And the awarding of the degrees is not just about awarding degrees. It is to cure the academic and job progression dilemma that HND students face. So does a BTech necessarily solve the issue of academic progression of polytechnic students? You need to look at this in totality and then be able to solve it. And as the president said, when it comes to the issue of basic education and then also making secondary school education free, the Constitution has already laid out that as out already. So nobody can obviously be telling you that. We go to health. We have worked to improve on our people's access to health infrastructure.
They say your one-time premium has never been implemented.
Well, it has not been implemented, yes. It has not been implemented. But has that constrained the people's ability to access healthcare? What is health insurance for the people when they do not have anywhere, or it takes them hours to get to a hospital? So you've improved on that. So now people can access CHIPS compounds around. We built 10 polyclinics in 2 regions of this country. A number of district hospitals are coming up. What it means is that you are getting access to it. We have worked on the legislation that would make the one-time premium implementation effective and efficient. We have worked on improving on the health insurance management itself, because you need to manage it efficiently so that the resources that are available can be utilized. So the various hospitals that were engaged in various forms of kululu, that the management of the health insurance has stopped, and who were screaming all over the place, even they themselves knew that they were stealing the people's money, they were depriving the people from these resources. So the one-time premium, the law has now been passed so that it can be effectively and efficiently
before
implemented.
the implementation of the one-time, I think in your manifesto at page 23, if you could refer to that, I could see the graphs indicating the various pattern for outpatient utilization and claims payment trend.
Yeah, and I've heard some quite educated people deliberately skew the issue of
NHIS.
Well, I mean, that is for them. I mean, politics is politics, and I think that we've all been in this game, so we can understand why people will do certain things. But at least I have always, I mean, those of us who are not that educated, that old, and also that experienced, we expect to learn from some of these people, so that when you pick a graph that talks about outpatient utilization and says that 25 million people accessed the health care, you say, what is the population of this country? How can you claim that 25 million people are registered? Nobody has said that 25 million people are registered.
It is a
They're
serious
talking about
misunderstanding.
utilization.
Yes. I think that
if I go to the hospital 4 times in the course of the year, and you go 2 times, that makes it utilization of 6. So, I mean, we ought to put all these issues into perspective. But Ali, it is important to also add that apart from education, apart from health, which we've tackled the issue of infrastructure, and we are going to tackle it aggressively in the next 4 years, where we say that every district must have a hospital. In other words, the districts that currently do not have hospitals, we're going to make sure that we start the construction of hospitals for those districts. The issue of capacity, nurses, doctors, midwives, community health nurses is also being enhanced by providing a lot more of these training institutions to bring a lot more, because once you have them there, you can deploy them to the various communities. We are tackling energy as well.
Okay, but before you do with energy, there's one issue that is very, very important to me that I ask. The campaign is currently in the north. I'm wondering, you know, there's this historical difference in terms of developmental gap between the south and the north. And in the event of that, Akufo-Addo did promise the Kayaye, you know, that he was going to build them hostels. Does the NDC have any strategic plan to prevent this rural-urban migration?
Well, everybody has some experience. Thankfully, the main opposition party has been in power before.
Yeah, for 8
so
years.
They ought to be telling us from their record what they did in the 8 years to make the north, or the poverty labeled regions of this country, which includes the central region, better than they were. Now, they have, at least we did something. We recognize that problem. And that is why the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority concept came about.
The SADA.
Now, the SADA. Now, when you build hostels for Kayaye in Accra, do you solve the push factor, the causative factors? What is it that is bringing the Kayaye to Accra? So that if you tell me that we are doing A, B, C, D to prevent people from getting themselves into that situation, and for those of them who have already gotten themselves into that situation, this is how we are going to help to solve the problem for them. Then I will be thinking that, yeah, this is a forward-looking, you know, political organization and political leader for that matter. But just come here and say you're putting hostels up. I served, when I was working with multimedia, I served on the Joy Eastern Soup Kitchen Committee, and at the time we had
very
house. This very house. We had a team, and I remember that we worked with the Assemblies of God Relief Association to try and pick up some of these Kayaye and train them, etc. And one of the key issues that was coming out was that once you continue to provide them with an opportunity where they come in like that and you take them out, whatever, you get a lot more of them coming. Now you're going to be bringing a lot more of them to Accra because they have hosted. That's why the president says that you must solve the problem. What is it that is caused? It's because of poverty in the north.
Sounds very intelligent strategy.
SADA is out there to boost economic activity in the north. And how are you doing that? It's by ensuring that you develop the north. Okay. The road infrastructure is bad. How many kilometers of roads did the MPP add to where they came to meet in the northern regions before they left?
You tell me.
How many industries came up in the northern regions? What you are saying is that you want to make the area fertile for business. Okay. You want to make the area fertile for people to want to go and invest there. So in addition to the share nut processing factory that is in Bupe, Avnash is also constructing a rice milling factory. Some Brazilians are coming in to engage in sugarcane plantations for the production of sugar
and all that.
I mean, the EDIF, which is now the export investment and agriculture fund, is supporting mango plantations, etc.
Obviously,
what all that does, Ali, is that you are providing an opportunity for businesses to grow up. And many more services will also go up.
Economic
it
opportunity.
Provides sustainable job opportunities for the people, and they can look after their children.
Yeah, you would want to add that to, that's when I come after my break. You want to tell me how the president has prepared the nation in terms of disasters such as the one that happened in Melcom Achimota, and you tell me the various infrastructure and the resources available for NADMO to handle such a situation. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Welcome back to Majority Caucus. My name is Ali Dawood. I'm your host tonight, and we'll be looking at the presidential campaign strategy as regards the NDC, John Mahama 2012. And I have with me in the studio Mr. Stan Dogbe, presidential aide and a member of the campaign and communication team. Stan, disaster, president.
Well, like you already said in your introduction, it's a very, very unfortunate development. It's one of those things that nobody wakes up and thinks about that is going to happen. We've had buildings collapse in this country, but many a time it collapses when the structures are not occupied. You know, maybe while the construction is ongoing. So you would have one, worker on the side getting hurt or something, but for a structure that is ready and in use, to collapse in the manner that it did. And if you go to the site, you see that all the floors just dropped. It means that all the beams were weak, the pillars were totally weak, and it raises a number of issues. I've heard people bring up a number of points, and the president has rightly said that people ought to be held totally, responsible for this. There's arguments about, whether they have permits, and I've heard some say how long it takes for one to get a permit, which makes it a disincentive. I've said that as a country, we must stop making excuses for things that happen. If the person put up a structure and did not put up a good structure, let us hold the person responsible. Let us not blame it on the fact that it is difficult to get a permit, and that is why, because the permit, you are just giving a permit to build. It gives you a permit that you can put up this structure on this location. Okay. But the quantity of cement that you put in your blocks, the strength of the beams that you have, the iron rods that you are using, etc., are not listed in that permit. So it's a very unfortunate development. But I think that the National Emergency Response Team once again deserves some commendation. In spite of the challenges that we had, I think that they pushed through. They were quite decisive and effective. The Field Engineers Regiment of the Ghana Armed Forces, the Ghana Police, the National Ambulance Service, the National Disaster Management Organization, and all the other agencies really worked very hard. And to pull out over 70 of those survivors, and then also losing a few in spite of the challenges that we had. I say, and it was on my Facebook post this morning, that let us recognize the fact that when investment is being made in various institutions, people should not say that, why are you making them?
Okay.
And I made the point that I'm sure that tomorrow, when cranes and a few other things are being invested in, people are going to say that, but how many disasters do you have in a year that you are going to invest in that? But the collective ability of all those agencies under the control
proactiveness
of the field engineers regiment, bringing together the little pieces of equipment that they had. The fire service were there, the military came in various, whatever, of course. Also, the president also spoke to a few private companies that brought in some cranes, and then the Ghana Civil Aviation brought in another crane to help with that process. Those little equipments that we have has brought us where we are today. So,
Indeed.
improving the human resource capacity of our institutions, and then also providing of equipment should and must remain vital.
And I'm so excited that the president has shown strong sensitivity to the plight of the ordinary Ghanaian, had to suspend his campaign all the way in the north and then had to attend to them.
Well, that is also very, very important. But it's also that you notice that even when the Israelis put in the call that, look, they can offer this assistance, the president has come, and within hours they were in Ghana. So they are there now. They've brought in some additional equipment that we don't have. Equipment to hear
I'll come back to you.
We'll
deal with the government strategy to deal with such disaster. But I have a surprise package for you viewers out there. I have been joined in the studio by Mr. Alex Doe. He is the operations director for the group called Inside Ghana. Earlier today, they held a press conference at which they catalogued series of issues at the NPP presidential candidates. Indeed, they have made many allegations, outlined so many issues that they think he needed to respond to. And I have with me here Alex Doe to perhaps shed more light on that. Alex, the essence of the press conference.
Ali, thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners. Today we had a press conference, which is to open the eyes of the good people of Ghana on many a number of issues that were raised by the NPP flag bearer and the NPP diehard communicators, and we feel that we are getting closer to the elections, and some of these things should be highlighted.
Alex, so I'll see among the many issues that you raised, Nanado with corruption.
Yeah.
But he claims that he's incorruptible.
My brother, that is the point we are trying to make. He claims to be incorruptible, but the fact is that Nana Akufo-Addo is #1 corrupt person.
Viewers would like to know why.
Yes, they would like to know why we are saying that he's very, very corrupt. My brother, you know, when you go through records, we have had many allegations. You know, there's a saying that silence means consent, right? With many of the allegations that were leveled against Nana Akufo-Addo, we've not seen him out making any statement with regards to that. We have heard of Nana Akufo-Addo benefiting or having benefited from the $5,000 from the sale of the Ghana Telecom. We also have on record alleged that Nana Akufo-Addo had benefited or had 50% kickback from the Rockshell saga. Nana Akufo-Addo recently, yes, and I'm standing by that. Okay. And recently, when John Kuma was
arrested,
was arrested and was investigated or called by BNI, you know, a communicator of the NPP, somebody who is an ally to Nana Akufo-Addo, we did not hear anything from Nana Akufo-Addo. This and many more, and that of the colon, you know, and the Gbewa suitcase by which Nana Akufo-Addo was at the center of it, you know, paying colon which had not done any work to the government of Ghana. Not with only that, we have on record, and it was in the public domain, where Nana Akufo-Addo wrote a recommendation letter from his chambers for Great Cape Company to be paid. Okay. This and many more, my brother, are the reasons why we are saying that Nana Akufo-Addo should come out and make a statement.
What scares me most in your statement, as your press statement, I mean, is that Nana Akufo-Addo is a serious threat to our peace and stability.
Sure.
How so?
Ali well said. Nana Akufo-Addo, I put on record categorically that he is a threat to national peace and stability. We have just witnessed or watched the outcome of the aftermath of the U.S. election, you know, the Americans, and we have seen how peaceful the process has been. And we have some few days, Ali, you bear with me, to go with our elections. And I tell you, we have been following the statement, okay, genocidal statement, warmongering statement over and over and over from the NPP communicators. And we feel that the Akufo-Addo, who is parading to be the #1 citizen, you know, the #1 person, a leader, a president, if he should be given the mandate, should be able to call his house to order. You understand? You know, after election 2008, there was nothing like, you know, violence, you know, warmongering statement. All these things started when Nana Akufo-Addo made the all die be die statement. And my brother, I tell you, if a blind man says that he's going to stone you, then you should know that his foot is on the stone. You get it? So after his all die be die statement, we have heard Anthony Cabo. We have heard Samuel Auku.
You mean the secret tape?
My brother, you are very much aware of it. Now it all started when Samuel Auku made the point or a statement that the people should, you know, NPP supporters should use pestle to hit those who might attempt stealing ballot box or whatsoever. We have listened to many of them saying that if the NPP is not declared winners of election 2012, then Afghanistan, and so many of these things. And the recent one, of course, not forgetting Nyao Nyao Tameklo, who was making this 2012 election will not be a conventional war, but guerrilla war. And my brother, I tell you, recent one, which is Anthony Cabo. My brother, I'm surprised that Anthony Cabo is not being invited by the security agencies. You get it? Okay. Because this is a serious statement that, you know, the good people of Ghana would like to interrogate. You get it? So by that, we are,
but you know, says it's making not his voice.
My brother, we all know Anthony Cabo. He cannot tell us that that wasn't his voice. You understand? What prevented him to come out and make a statement? You know, but rather putting out statement. You understand? He knows that if he should make any public statement on radio, people will trace his voice.
You mean he has been avoiding radio and TV interview?
You understand? Calling for an instigation.
Alex,
you know,
in
calling
conclusion,
for mercenary in conclusion, we want Nana Akufo-Addo to come out and apologize. In fact, render unqualified apology to the good people of Ghana. He must make a statement on this, you know, genocidal, violent, you know, issues that is surrounding them. And we want Nana Akufo-Addo to desist from
if he refuses to do so,
yeah, my brother, we are taking it up. We will be petitioning Shraj to look into the matter and the security agencies. He must be called to order. Because note, I'm a young man. On that note, I'm a young man. Yes.
Yeah, clearly I would have to thank you. I'm running out of time. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Ali.
I'm sure in due course we'll get back to you for more insight on this. Thank you very much.
Thanks for granting the opportunity.
Yes, I'll be right back. Stay with me and don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show. This is Majority Caucus live on your multi-TV. I'm still in the studio with Mr. Stan Dogbe, presidential aide and member of the John Mahama 2012 communication team. And I now invite you to join in the discussion by airing your views on 0302 211-70124. I take that again, 0302 211-70124. Stan, I'm happy that we did not rely on external bodies before we could take steps to rescue our own people. And you made the point that the Israelis also saw the need for some intervention. Okay. But before that, let me take this call. I have Dr. Yabo. Hello, Doc.
Hello, my good boy. How are you?
I'm fine, sir.
I hope you are doing very well.
Indeed, I am.
Yeah, and your discussion is very interesting too.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I just want to comment a bit about your program.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I want to thank your panels over there. Really, the viewer, we have been much encouragement and very interesting with them. But I'm also opposed to the first and foremost, when you are viewing, at least, sometimes you may see facts of the issues. Some of the electorate of us, we understand and get the truth of the matter to join one of the political parties. As one of your boys who did press conference, just write and just read some of the pages a bit for us. So when you go ahead and understand it very well, you say that they don't have a corrupt, they don't have a lot of corrupts in the system. So when you say that, and I'll say that point, you said that...
if you could be brief, Dr. Yabua, obviously I do not have much time here.
Hello.
Briefly.
Listen. Let me go ahead. I want to explain. When you just said the others will come out...
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Doc.
Let me explain.
Doc, I do not have much time. I thought you go straight to your point. Hello, Ahmed. Hello, Ahmed.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Ahmed, welcome to the show. Hello. Okay, we seem to have lost Ahmed. Yeah.
I was saying that yes, largely the rescue effort has been local. Okay. The capacity of our institutions to do what they have to do is there. It's just that a lot of the time they lack the equipment. Okay. And Professor Mills ensured that there was a gradual retooling of our institutions. Remember the brouhaha that our opposition elements made about retooling our institutions. The Ghana Armed Forces do not have even one helicopter anywhere that even if there's a need for medvac, they will be able to move to do that. They had no, training.
I'll come back to you. Let me take Kingsley. Hello, Kingsley.
Hello.
Yeah, Kingsley, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Kingsley, could you please be kind enough to lower the volume of your set?
All right.
I'm having some terrible feedback here.
All right, my name is Kingsley. I'm calling from the Sunafo South. I hope that it's about time that NDC will give us a break and then another to come in and then give us the free education.
Kingsley, there's so much noise in your background. Hello, Kingsley.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I said that.
Briefly.
Yes, about time that,
okay,
to give the way for another to come in and give us a free education. Because
okay, thank you very much, caller. And I have another caller on the line. Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're on air.
Oh, okay. I just want to ask, why you are not using the payment of excuse me.
Okay, thank you very much. When you get back to your point, be free to call me again. I'll be here eager to know your views. Yeah, Stan.
Yeah, so the retooling of our institutions have been very, very helpful. Okay. Today, the Ghana Armed Forces, both the Army, the Air Force, and the Navy have equipment that they need to do their jobs. It's not enough, but that's the starting point. Okay. If within the 8 years of the new Patriotic Party, they had also attempted to retool these institutions, added to what we have provided now, they would have been capable of doing everything by themselves. You saw the state of the Ghana National Fire Service until they got this number of equipment. You see what the Ghana Police Service have got over the period. Okay. The prison service have also started, getting theirs, and Ghana Immigration. I'm saying that the success, so to speak, of these rescue efforts so far can be traced to the availability of equipment and then also the motivation that our institutions and their staff have.
What has been the response from the public with the swift action by the government?
You see, sadly, yeah, there are those who appreciate it, but we have a media that itself loses track of the issues. Oh. So you have media that is overly concentrating on speaking to so-called experts that are telling us about how to build, when they themselves, you go to their houses and you wonder whether they supervise the building of their own houses. Let us look at the issues. Okay. Instead of condemning people all the time, at least pick up one person and say that this person has been able to do A, B, C, D. Okay. Like the president did this afternoon in singling out the police constable who was working in a nearby, was stationed at a nearby building, rushed in there and helped in, you know, rescuing some of the people and bringing them outside. He's been recognized, and the president has directed that he should be promoted. We ought to be recognizing what our institutions are doing, and not only looking at the faults all the time. If you see how the team from the National Ambulance Service really worked, if you see how the staff of Achimota Hospital, you know, worked when they rescued the victims were sent there, the 37 military hospital, the Kolebu hospital, where the president has been to all those places, we ought to recognize that people make an effort in this country. I am not saying that it is the best. We need to improve, but we need to recognize what we have done, what we are doing, and then make the recommendations that need to be made so that we can improve on the system, because we are all part of the problem.
Indeed, we are all one people. But just a quick detour. There's something that happened in the States some few days ago about the presidential election, the U.S. presidential election. Obama retained his position as the president of the U.S. Is there any analogy we could draw that perhaps something similar would happen in Ghana?
Well, I do not know about analogy, but the Democratic Party and the NDC have more or less, I don't want to call it a common belief necessarily, but the Republicans are for the NPP as much as the Democrats.
They share the same symbol,
the
elephants.
Democrats are for the NDC. And I think that, as the president has rightly done, he has congratulated the President Obama on his re-election. As he wrote on his Facebook wall, facebook.com/JD Mahama yesterday morning, he recognized that the people of America have endorsed him, which meant that they repose a lot of confidence in his leadership and in the various initiatives that he has taken, despite the challenges that Bush left for him and the challenges that the American economy is still going through. The people of America recognize that Obama has done what can be done, and they believe that he can do it again for the next 4 years. And as far as he is concerned, the people of this country have experienced the Better Ghana agenda, and they are eager to see him move the Better Ghana agenda from the first gear to the second gear by advancing it. And we are confident that from what we hear from the people on the ground, from the spontaneous eruption of people. We went to Kolebu this afternoon to visit some of the victims. And I tell you what, Kolebu turned into a mini rally. Even sick people on their hospital beds were getting up to be dressed because they wanted to be part of the JM fever.
Indeed.
You see, it can only come out of a certain recognition and endorsement of the work that Professor Mills has done over the last 3.5 years before his demise. And the recognition of the personality, the leadership attributes of John Mahama, and the belief that the people have in him, that from what has been done over the last 4 years, John Mahama in the seat would continue and do it better. That spontaneous eruption is what pushes our opponents to continue to send out false statements,
utopian promises,
court stories around and push them. This election is not about falsehood. It's about what the people are experiencing on the ground. And hopefully, by the morning of December 9th, the joy that America experienced yesterday will be experienced in Ghana.
Indeed, we hope that that is exactly what is going to transpire on 7th December. But final words to the bereaved family of, you know.
Well, I mean, government sympathizes with them. It's an unfortunate development, and government will support as much as it can. President has directed that this matter is going to be looked into, and people are going to be punished. I do know that the owner of the building has gone into hiding, but the BNI are on his tail.
Indeed.
And they are surely going to get him, and people must answer questions for the things that they do. For those who were injured and those who have been discharged from hospital now, we say that sorry for all that, but together as a nation, we should not wait. When people are being taken on and punished, I hope that the same media will not come condemning the president for taking action against them.
Indeed. On that note, I thank you very much for making time to join me this evening in the studio on Majority Caucus. Indeed, it is also with sad note that we end today's edition of Majority Caucus. Our thoughts are with the family of the bereaved. Indeed, we mourn them, and we hope those who are injured in the hospital will recover very soon. On that note, we bring tonight's discussion to an end, but make a date with me next week, Tuesday, for yet another exciting edition of Majority Caucus. Till then, Stay blessed and be good.